Today, we'll be exploring how children's social development is shaped by the complex layers of social stratification, especially within the context of a changing political and scientific landscape. As you can see in the image behind me, the diversity among children in educational settings is a vital part of this conversation, grounding our discussion in real-world experiences. I'm excited to dive into these themes with you as we examine both the challenges and opportunities that arise when race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic factors intersect in childhood development. Today, we'll explore some important concepts starting with the definitions of race and ethnicity and how they differ. We'll also discuss social class and socioeconomic status, including methods to measure them. Then, we'll dive into how race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status influence different levels of society, from broad macro processes to individual experiences. Finally, we'll look at family dynamics related to cultural attachment and consider future directions in this research. On this slide, we have an overview of the chapter's conceptual focus, which looks closely at the distinct and overlapping ideas of race and ethnicity. We'll explore how these concepts, along with socioeconomic status, interact to shape children's development. Understanding these connections is essential because race, ethnicity, and CS don't work in isolation. They're deeply intertwined and together influence social development in powerful ways. The classroom image here helps ground these concepts in a real-world setting, reminding us that these factors play out daily in children's social experiences. Here, we see that race has traditionally been defined by biological traits like skin color or hair texture. However, it's important to understand that race is not just about genetics or physical features. It is also a social construction, meaning it's shaped by families, communities, and society's perceptions. This way of thinking highlights how race influences our lived experiences and social interactions, rather than just biology alone. The image of children gathered around a puppy reminds us that race is deeply embedded in everyday life and social environments. Ethnicity is about groups of people who see themselves as connected through shared history, language, nationality, or ancestry. It's fundamentally about cultural identity, not biological differences. This connection shapes unique experiences and traditions within each group, influencing how they see themselves and how they interact with the world. Just like the warm, inviting dinner scene here, ethnicity reflects a sense of community and shared heritage that plays a crucial role in social development and belonging. Here, we're distinguishing between race and ethnicity, two terms that are often confused but actually refer to different concepts. Race is generally based on presumed genetic or physical traits and is used as a social category that often reflects differences in power and experiences, such as discrimination. It's important to note that within any given race, there can be multiple ethnicities, which shows the diversity that exists inside these broad categories. On the other hand, ethnicity is centered around shared cultural elements like history, language, nationality, and ancestry. It highlights cultural connections rather than biological ones. Similarly, an ethnic group can include people from multiple races, which means identities can overlap. Understanding these differences is crucial for appreciating the rich diversity within groups and for forming better research, social policies, and more nuanced discussions. Socioeconomic status, or SES, is essentially the relative position of an individual or group in society based on three key factors: income, education, and occupation. This status reflects the broader concept of social stratification, which is about how resources, power, and influence are unevenly distributed across society. This distribution plays a crucial role in shaping children's development, since access to these resources directly affects their opportunities and experiences. Understanding SES and social stratification is fundamental when we look at how social class impacts child development in real, tangible ways. When measuring socioeconomic status, we look first at objective indicators like income, education, and employment status. Income reflects the family's financial resources, while poverty levels highlight basic subsistence needs. Education indicates persistence and access to knowledge, and occupational prestige reveals important aspects of social capital. Then, we consider subjective measures, which capture how people perceive their own economic standing and social connections. By combining these objective and subjective assessments, we gain a more complete understanding of how socioeconomic status impacts well-being and social development. The image here reminds us that SES directly influences family environments and daily life. Here we see clear disparities in income and education levels across different racial and ethnic groups. African Americans experience a significant income gap at 66% relative to other groups, while whites have the highest per capita income but rank lower in educational attainment. Asian Americans lead in education but have the lowest income gap, showing the complex relationship between these factors. These differences demonstrate how race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status intersect, shaping social development in unique ways. Understanding these distinctions is crucial because lumping these factors together can mask their individual effects, which may result in less effective policies. By recognizing each group's specific challenges, we can create targeted programs to better support children's development and close existing achievement gaps. On this slide, we focus on macro processes, which are the broad cultural and structural factors that shape social stratification and influence children's development. These processes determine how resources and opportunities are distributed in society, affecting children's access to social capital. We explore key ideas like the American dream and the mobility myth, which suggest upward movement is possible but often overlook systemic barriers. Discrimination, racism, and institutional oppression also play a critical role by limiting life chances for many children. Together, these macro-level forces create the environment that frames all other developmental influences. Here, we're looking at how neighborhoods play a crucial role in shaping social interactions and opportunities. Neighborhoods determine access to education, recreation, and quality food, but historical policies like redlining caused racial and economic segregation, which concentrated poverty and limited resources. This leads to social disorganization, where structural issues like poverty and instability weaken community ties and reduce the ability to supervise and support youth. As a result, collective socialization, the community's shared responsibility for guiding children, declines, which can negatively affect their development and safety. Here we focus on family-level beliefs and practices and how they're shaped by factors like race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. Parenting beliefs and practices vary widely, with socioeconomic status often influencing whether families adopt more controlling or egalitarian approaches. At the same time, the cultural niche that families occupy plays a critical role. Parenting not only reflects work experiences and cultural values, but also incorporates ethnic socialization, which helps children develop a strong sense of cultural identity and equips them to handle discrimination. This image shows a family spending quality time together, highlighting how everyday interactions are central to these important developmental processes. Here we see 4 key types of ethnic socialization that parents use to help their children connect with their cultural heritage. First, cultural socialization focuses on teaching children about their cultural knowledge, histories, and values, which builds a strong and positive sense of self. Next, preparation for bias involves open conversations about stereotypes and discrimination, equipping children with strategies to cope with challenges they may face. Egalitarianism highlights the importance of valuing diversity and treating all groups fairly, fostering an inclusive mindset. Finally, promotion of mistrust, though the least common, encourages caution toward other groups. Together, these approaches play a crucial role in helping children navigate their social world and buffer against the negative effects of discrimination. At this level, we focus on individual processes and how race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status shape youth experiences. These factors influence behaviors, dispositions, and beliefs by creating what we call developmental niches, which in turn shape negative attributions and stress responses. Children develop identities around their ethnicity, race, and socioeconomic background, and these identities deeply impact their worldview and how they interact socially. Recognizing these influences is essential for fostering positive development and supporting youth as they navigate their social environments. As we look to the future, there is an urgent need to examine the intersectionality of race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status in children's social development. This means including diverse samples from a variety of neighborhoods to truly capture the complex and nuanced relationships at play. By centralizing these constructs in our research, we can advance our theories and better reflect the growing diversity in children's lives and experiences. This approach is crucial for creating a more complete understanding of social development moving forward.